And happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
What on earth do you have on your white t-shirt?
Well, it was the best I could do. We were thinking of going shopping yesterday or today to get a green
I
t-shirt.
found an old rally t-shirt that's green. It's the only green shirt I have, and you don't have anything green. So you
No,
made a shamrock.
And I know I've got a little bit of Irish in me.
She just made a shamrock. I mean, literally, we were talking to Phyllis in the blue room or green room or off camera or whatever.
I should have stayed in art classes longer. My
Yeah.
sister was extremely talented in art, and I got tired of being called her name, and I wasn't as good, and so I decided it was time to drop that.
Well, that's great. So we're not too. We were in the St. Patrick's Day mood. I was going to pick up some Guinness, but you had to buy at least a 4-pack, and frankly, I don't like Guinness that much. I would have had one with our dinner. And I did see a question about dinner, so we might as well answer that right away. Because we did, who did I see that from? There it was, from Road Trip Buddy. What's for dinner? Well, we haven't had it yet, but I'm smelling it, and it is
Go ahead, you tell.
corned beef and cabbage.
And
How's
I don't
that?
think it's going to get done. I
It's
don't
been
think
cooking for 6 hours, 7
But-
hours.
the meat is not tender.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to get done till tomorrow.
I'm getting hungry. Yeah, it'll be done. So we have that much of a thing. So hi to you, Road Trip Buddy. We do have corned beef and cabbage. And
We do.
By the time you get over here, it'll probably be done. So come on by. We've got lots of it.
The meat was pretty thick.
Yeah.
You know, it's taken a long time to cook.
Well, anyway, I like your shamrock. Let me just say that. And I think we should hide your green pen because you might get bored and start drawing on my
Green
head. Or
tattoo
something.
ya?
I think, yeah,
Give
green
you some-
tattoo. I could have done
Yeah.
a tattoo. Yeah.
I don't. You might have some Irish in you because
I don't think so.
your people were from
German,
German
Germany, yeah.
and English.
but no, not
I knew,
Irish.
I knew Scotland and France and Austria.
But today we're all Irish,
That
right?
today we're all.
Yeah.
But I know I'm got a little bit Irish.
So I didn't get any Guinness, but I do have Dos Equis because we're at the beach in Florida, and that comes in a green bottle. At least mine does. I like their lager, so I could have that. But
Could have stuck a lime.
yeah,
Loop or
That's
something,
green,
made
too.
Earrings or
Yeah.
something.
all right. Enough of our
Enough of that.
foolishness. We hope you guys have had a great weekend, and it is great to see you all tonight. We are still in Florida, and we'll be here a couple more weeks. We're on RV number 3 now in our test of Class B RVs. We've not done any beach. Well, we did a half hour on the beach yesterday, first time in 3 weeks.
Actually, you did half an hour.
Yeah, that's right. I did it all by myself. You were
And then
busy.
I went out to join you and got as far as the pool and started visiting with our neighbors.
Yeah.
And that took care of that.
But we have been working really hard on these videos. We have tested 3 of them now. We've been on 2-wheel drive Class Bs, all-wheel drive Class Bs. We're now testing a 4x4 Class B. We've been on the ProMaster chassis, the Ford Transit chassis, and we're now testing a Class B on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. And we will be doing 2 more tests in the next 2 weeks, and then we will put them all together and release them. We're going to release 5 or 6 videos, one after another, every day for
Aren't
a
you
week.
worried about people getting sick of listening to us?
Well, they don't have to watch them all, you know. But
I mean, the
there's-
first
but
one's
a lot of
40
people-
minutes, second one's 30 minutes.
yes,
a lot
been-
of us.
We've been testing, reviewing, driving, camping, writing, and then editing. And the first one I have finished most of the edit. It's 40 minutes long. The second video review is 31 minutes long. And I don't know what we'll do with the others, but that's what we're doing. And we're having fun testing them. If you don't know what we're doing, we're not necessarily getting a Class B. This is all a challenge that started with our friend Nick Schmidt from Sunshine State RVs in Tampa. We saw him at the Tampa show. He's actually in Gainesville, Florida, but we saw him at the Tampa RV show.
Mhm.
And he
Gave us a challenge because we used to own a bee and we owned a bee for a long time. And we've been out of a bee, and he wanted us to see how they've improved.
and so we have tested them, and indeed they have.
They
We've really enjoyed testing them, but don't think we're buying one because we thought this was smart for us to test, but also I know a lot of you do like bees and would like to see the videos. And then there are a couple of other types of RVs that we probably will test out as well. If we can find anybody as generous as Nick, because Nick has been providing these RVs for us. He's even had them delivered to us. We're probably 300 miles from him, and he's had them delivered. So, okay, so that's up with us.
So we're spoiled.
We are spoiled. Let's go, and then hopefully we're going to eat our corned beef and cabbage. Bo is here with us.
Oh yeah, he's.
There was a
decided
thunderstorm that came through, and he's a little stressed.
He's, yeah, he's still recovering.
I like that shamrock. Bud Lenardi.
What brand of tires do you use on the fifth? Do you have a name for him or her?
The tires are what came with the Montana High Country, and I believe they're Rainier tires. We named one RV, and it was one of our old Class Bs, the last Class B we had, and we had a lot of bad luck with that. And we named it Major. We actually did a contest, asked you guys what we should name it.
Oh, you're fine.
Somebody said Major, and it stood for Mike and Jennifer's Other Residence. And I thought that was clever. And we even had a little front license plate printed up, but we haven't named anything since then. That was kind of an unpleasant circumstance.
Yeah, I think we only had it a month or two.
About a month and a half or two. So we have not named it. We just called our Montana High Country the Montana or the Fifth Wheel. I suppose we could have you guys all name it for us, but or we could have a contest. But
it really is our second home.
Yeah, we really do. We're going up as soon as we get done with some time here in the beach and doing these reviews and this project we're on down here. We're going to head back up to Tennessee.
Do you know how confusing this is for me? Because I'm enjoying being here, and then I'm going to enjoy being in Tennessee, and then I got to go home.
And you got to go home to Michigan, but then we got to come. Then we got our June rally coming up in Shipshewana, Indiana.
That's not a big deal because that's just like an hour from where we live. So it's
and
not
then we
like
got our
driving
trip
across the country.
Then we got our trip to the Maritimes. And then what else do we have? We got a lot of other stuff.
A secret trip.
Oh yeah, we got a secret trip. Yeah, we'll be telling you about that later. Jerry Cornelius.
How much should you spend at a Harvest Host? We've stayed at Harvest Host where there is nothing to buy, so all free. We stayed in alpaca. Why can't it? Alpaca farm.
Right there.
My wife spent over $125 on wonderful items.
Well, we have been saying that we did a live stream on our RV Lifestyle community Thursday night. Boy, that was fun. That was really a fun live stream. And we said at that time, we had a similar question, and we said that $20 is what they suggest that you spend. But then somebody contacted me since and said they're now suggesting $30.
Ooh.
So I don't know.
I can see 30.
Yeah, I can see 20 too. Especially if there's no hookups and stuff.
Yeah.
But you should patronize them. If it's a farm, you buy some produce. If it's a wine, you buy some wine. If it's a brewery, you have some brews and or get some food, have a lunch. We've pretty much always spent, I would bet, $30, $35. If they have dinner, we usually eat dinner. It depends on where it is. There are places like we've stayed in museums that are closed and they're not open, and so we come and
make
go.
A donation.
We never saw anybody, and there's no place to even donate. So
under the door somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you could, but I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how you could end up at a farm or something where they don't sell jam and things like that.
And some people don't care.
I mean, I think it's a bit of an aggravation because they have to answer the phone and block off a date for you and everything. So I could see slipping them $25.
Whatever, but you should patronize them. Sharon Childress.
Hello from Northwest New Jersey. Wishing we were in Florida. We will be there April 10th for a month. Can't wait.
It's just getting nice. Today was nice this morning. It's rained heavily and thunderstorms this afternoon, but I was busy editing, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday was fabulous.
Yesterday was the nicest
and
day
I'm looking
we
at
had.
I'm looking at the Alexa temperature here. Oh, I shouldn't
have said that name.
It's going to say, and it says it's going to be mostly partly cloudy. It's be a little cool the early part of the week, and then it warms right up in the mid 70s. So now remember, we're in the Panhandle, so it's a little much cooler.
It's always cooler up here.
Yeah, well, good for you, Sharon. You're coming at a great time, right?
Okay, okay. I'm not going to say the weather has been just rainy and
Yeah.
foggy and stuff down here.
Jerry
Are
Cornelius again.
are any of the Bs you are checking out diesel? Yes, the Mercedes.
Yep.
And which do you favor?
Well, it's too soon to say. And I don't know if we'll favor any of them. Jerry, we're really doing pretty comprehensive reviews. We're showing the outside, we're showing the inside, we're showing it driving, we're camping in it. And we have found things that we like in the 3 that we've tested so far. I mentioned, all the different types that we've had, and we've had gas, and we're now testing the Sprinter as a diesel. I'll just say in general that because my truck is diesel, and sometimes it's a little tricky with diesel. Sometimes we've pulled off, and there are still stations that don't sell it. It's very convenient, and it's a little cheaper to get gas right now. It has been for a couple of years, but I have no preference really, diesel or gas. I can live with both. Most of our RVs have all been diesel, so having the Transit's gas and the ProMaster's gas.
I can say for Bo likes the Mercedes because there's more space
Yes,
in the cab
he
part.
can squeeze up between the 2 of us.
There's hardly any room, and he stands the entire time.
And
unless we tie him in the back.
And there's big differences that we've seen. I don't want to give away all of our views, but the ProMaster cab and leg room, at least on the model we tested, was extremely limited. The Transit had a little bit more room, and the Sprinter has lots of room and is much more roomier. But we've tested units that are 20 feet long, 22 feet, and 24 feet. So those are the 3 that we've done now.
And the maneuverability of the Ford and everything, it was good.
Yeah,
all good.
It's been a really fun experience.
Yeah.
Randy Dexter saying good evening from North Carolina. Good evening to you, Randy. And KK Kayak wishing, hey, look, he's got 2 shamrocks. That's his name. There you go.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you both.
And Melissa Lyle up there in Midland, Michigan.
Yes,
hi, Melissa.
Good evening to you back, Melissa.
Good to see you. I think of Melissa, and I think of all of our gatherings, and we've got our June one coming up, which has been sold off, although there's so many people on the waiting list, and we're starting to fill up those. And we are pretty much finalizing our fall gathering, and we will announce that, sometime mid-April, mid to late April. We'll tell you about our fall gathering. Tropical Caper.
Greetings from Florida. Would you like to get input on value of having a CB radio for trips out west?
Well, sure. If you're on the interstates, they're pretty handy for learning about how come there's a traffic jam up, someplace. It gets pretty skimpy. It's still, depending on where we are in the sunspot cycle, and we're on an active time now, they can get really noisy with skip, which, is long distance broadcasts. But it's a handy tool to have on the road and on the highway. I'm an amateur radio operator, and it's really not very handy at all in the RV. It just, there's very few people to talk to, and it isn't very handy.
I'm going to get fired. I think I said would you instead of would like.
Oh,
but
well, he said would like to get input.
I know, but I read it wrong. I said you instead of like.
Yeah.
I'm going to get fired.
I thought a couple of times of putting one in, but Waze does a really good job of telling you traffic on interstates. There aren't many people, if you're driving 2-lane roads out west, you only get 10 miles range out of a CB on a good day. But they're handy. They're really handy to have on interstates. So yeah, get one, but I wouldn't make it a priority. And I wouldn't drill a hole for an antenna. And because I wouldn't do that, that antenna is not going to be as efficient as one that, makes a good ground connection by drilling a hole through a metal roof or someplace where you can reach some metal. But I have it installed correctly. There's just a lot of variables to see. It's not, it's not like it was in the 70s, good buddy.
Where do you put it? There's not a lot
of room. I guess now they're all the controls are in the microphone, the speakers in the microphone, and you can hide that. They're easy to mount, and they're less than $200. So yeah, I think a long trip out west, it's just another way of communications that's probably helpful. So So go for it. Beth Walsh, Beaufort, South Carolina, Harvest Host Highway 21 drive-in. I guess that's a drive-in theater. I don't know.
No, just easy to pull in.
Highway 21. What do you mean? You think it's just a pull-in? She's a Harvest Host. I don't know.
Ah.
Well, hi to you anyway, Beth, whatever you're saying to us. So I
Oh, well,
assumed
she's
that
a
she's
Harvest Host, and she's on Highway 21, and it's easy just to drive in.
That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah.
That's what I think
But
she's saying.
you can give us more info, Beth, and we'll share it. So,
If you're trying to get more people to come stay
Yeah,
at your place,
tell us where you
that'd
are.
be great. We should have her say what she expects. what
yeah,
people
and
buy.
Beth, yeah, tell us if you're a Harvest Host, tell us what you expect, and all that. Help everybody know. Jerry Cornelius?
When we have our two servers,
No, 2 fivers. Why?
I can't see. That's why it looked like an S instead of a 5. My
When-
new
when
glasses
we-
are not going to come any
Do
too
you mean
soon.
have or had? When we have our two, I think he means had. When we had our 2 fifth wheels, we had so many issues with tires. We finally put truck tires on our fifth wheel and never had another problem. Get good tires. And, I don't know what brand you have. Some of the cheaper or some of the less expensive ones, put on those China bombs. Almost all tires are made in China. So just because it's made in China doesn't mean it's a China bomb. But you want good tires,
Yeah, I wonder what brand.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we probably don't
a
need to
lot
be
of them are,
bashing
you never
somebody.
heard of them, but
Yeah.
the High Country Rainier are pretty well rated. Montana's a high end fifth wheel, so it has pretty good tires. On our motorhomes and on my truck, I always go with Michelin. That's the only tire I'll buy. But
The ride is better.
Yep. And you can ask 20 different fifth wheel owners what tires are the best, and you'll get 19 different answers. So and there's always one who's like me, I don't know, whatever they came on. But tires are important. You want to get good ones. Nancy Ann Gagney Kelly, hello.
Always ready to go camping here in Texas.
Yes, you had some cold weather, I think, in Texas this past week, but then I saw a great picture of the bluebonnet cell. So love those flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So Facebook user, first time here.
Which method of winterizing do you prefer? Antifreeze or air compressor?
I much prefer air compressor. It's much better, I think. Much easier to de-winterize. I don't like that sickly smell of the pink antifreeze. I always, because I'm a messy guy, I always make a mess that my shamrock wearing wife cleans up and never complains, but you can complain. And I've just had great luck in Michigan, which is very cold, with blowing the air out, and that's what you're doing. That's what we did with our fifth wheel. And then it's just a matter of running water through it, and in the putting water in the water heater, and good to go.
Okay, is that screen fuzzy or is it me?
It's you.
Really?
See, we just ordered you some computer glasses. I can't wait.
Yeah, no,
I can bring it closer to you.
No, everything is fuzzy.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's you. I think it's pretty clear.
Phyllis said something about the picture.
No, she's saying because we didn't have a good internet connection. Which could be because it's a cloudy day. We're in a condo, and there's 70 other units around us that are on the same probably all on the internet. Denise Werner
just saw the notification of your live here from blustery and cold Ohio.
Yeah, I saw you were getting cold weather up in the Midwest.
Wasn't it warm yesterday?
Yesterday, the day before, it was like sometime in the last couple of days was in the 70s there, and now it's snow flurrying again. So
spring is coming, isn't it? The 21st
this week, this 21st or 22nd. Yeah, Larry Weitzel.
Have you guys ever considered a Super C?
No. I would consider a small A, but I've not considered a Super C. They're big. I'd like to drive that baby, but I've never considered one. No, I would get an A, I think, instead of a Super C. They're big. They're really big. James Massey.
Headed to Eclipse in Texas, and the crowds are supposed to be intense. Hope our viewers set a calm example for the 3 to 4 minute excitement.
Depends on where you're watching it, I guess. I can't imagine people getting too crazy watching. Yeah, it's dark. Yeah, there's so many people going, James, across that whole belt. Every place I've heard, We had a story on the podcast this week about some campgrounds are doing price gouging, and one of the big RV rental companies is renting a 2-night package for like $650, and you get to stay in an RV, and $650 for 2 nights. Crazy.
We we considered maybe having a gathering someplace for the eclipse, and then I always think about if it rains or cloudy, maybe because
Yeah.
I'm a Michigander.
Well, if it's cloudy, it'll just get dark, but you want to say it. But it's a big event. This is the last one, for 40 years or something. So we'll have fun. I'm sure it'll be just fine. I wouldn't worry. Donald Winkowski.
Hi from Don and Karen. Last week we were traveling from New York to Texas, and now we have arrived, and the bluebonnets are in bloom.
Well, I hope you guys had a good, easy trip, Don and Karen, and that's great. I love those bluebonnets.
Hope you get some great pictures.
Yep, they really are fun. They are fun. Joy G. Anderson.
Do you use your freezer much when traveling? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We use it a lot.
Yeah, it's so nice to have like a residential size refrigerator in our fifth wheel. That is really nice. Although that's one of the changes. These are big refrigerators compared to what we originally had in our Class Bs that we're testing. These Class Bs, I'm pretty impressed with the size of those refrigerators.
Yeah, they've made them larger.
And I'll tell you what I'm really impressed with in the units is the air conditioners. Now, we've tested the best one we've seen is the Truma. Just really quiet and very efficient. We've seen some great air conditioners and some great lithium battery packages that run that air for a long time.
I was like, why can somebody make a quiet air conditioner and not everybody make a quiet air conditioner?
Money.
And it looks like now
I can't imagine anything better than this Truma. So we'll see what in the other ones.
Because we had a quiet air conditioner put in one of our rigs.
That cost me $4,000. That was we had from Houghton. It was a Houghton air conditioner, and folks Mike's group up at Advanced RV up in Ohio put it in, and it was quiet, but it was still noisier than these Trumas that we're testing. Don't you think? Do you remember it?
I remember it.
Remember that compressor would come on and boom, you'd really hear that.
Yeah.
These are just really efficient and so really nice. I mean, we'll see them all in our reviews.
Everything should get better.
Yeah, it is.
With time.
So Nick was right in telling us to give these things a try.
Yeah. It can't be dated.
Facebook user Winnie from Michigan.
Okay. What's your favorite 3-day camping spot in Michigan or Ohio?
Michigan, quick one, I would say Muskegon State Park, although I think it's closed this year because they're fixing the campsites. That's my favorite. Or Platte River campground up by Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes on the western side. Those are my favorites. Anything come to you in mind you like better?
I like Tawas. I've always wanted to go up to Tawas.
On Lake Huron?
Lake Huron and get there in spring when the birds migrate. I thought that would be fun.
This would be a good time.
To do that.
Tawas Point State Park.
And I am a sucker for the campground at St. Ignace, where you can see the lights of the Mackinac Bridge, and sometimes it's foggy, sometimes it's clear.
Yeah.
I just like looking at the bridge. And
that's a state park.
Yeah.
St. Ignace State Park. Yeah, right there. So lots of places. We have 2 books, Winnie, on where to camp in Michigan and what to see and places that are just special for RVs. And you can find those right there on the screen below. Just check those out. And we got different bundles. You can get both of them. You can get those 2 in a Great Lakes shoreline guide that we did, and 18, 19 other RV travel books that we have put together over the years. And they tell you where to stay, and you can get a quick idea of the areas you want to see. It saves you time and makes it efficient. You'll love it. Michigan's just a great place for RVing. It really is.
If you can stand the roads.
If you can stand the roads. Yeah. D. Prince.
Deer Creek in Ohio. The lodge has been redone. Staff is great.
That's great. That would be fun.
Yeah.
We've never
write that down.
Jeff Newman. He says spring is on the 19th. Wow.
I thought it was the 21st, but what do I know?
I always thought spring was the 21st. Why would it be the 19th? Maybe because we had a leap year, maybe? I don't know. Well, anyway, happy spring, Jeff. I didn't know that. I wonder if he's pulling our leg. Why would it be the 19th? It's always the
I
21st.
think I thought it was the 21st because my sister-in-law is flying home.
Maybe.
And on my calendar, it's that first day of spring. But hey,
Maybe there's something else going on. What is
maybe
the
there's something
19th?
else going on.
Let's see. That's Tuesday. So
It's coming up quick.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Randy Dexter, they have a Renegade Super C. He likes it.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Lots of room, I bet.
Yeah. They are big. Camping with the Confers.
And good tires are important.
They indeed are. They indeed are. Tires are. Kathy Shanto in Daytona, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kathy. I hope you guys are enjoying Florida. Down on the East Coast. Kathy and Les are from Navarre, Florida, so they travel down that way. We'll probably pass you by. We're heading down towards Gainesville, Florida this week. Paul Huggan.
And greetings from Minnesota.
Minnesota. Hey, Paul. It's going to be warming up there. Ed Nadine Hillenberg.
Never get sick of you two. Thank you.
We get sick of ourselves, Ed, all the time. Oh, well, we kind of work. Boy, that's smelling good, that corned beef. Don't you smell it?
I don't know why. It doesn't smell good to me. I don't know.
Really
when
good.
I've made it before, the meat came from
Trader
Joe's. And
this came from Whole Foods, right?
This came from Whole Foods. And the spice package, I think, is a little different.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's good. Hey, we haven't pitched our community yet, and I'm going to just ask you guys, if you've not joined it and you're a regular here of Ask Us Anything, we're on that. Where are you going? You going to go check it?
You know I can't stand it.
Oh, she's going to go check the corned beef and cabbage. And I'll do our pitch on the community. This is our new group that we started a couple of months ago off Facebook. Now, we still have our Facebook group. Facebook, is awesome. We love Facebook. We have 370,000 members on Facebook. It's just amazing. However, sometimes Facebook can get a bit unruly, can get nasty. Posts sort of disappear. They don't show them to everybody. And it can be really a hassle. So we moved we started an off Facebook community that has just exploded. And it is so friendly. It is so welcoming. There are 20 different special RV interest spaces there for people who want to, talk about specific things. There's a couple of general areas. We do live streams there all the time. And we also have the ability to chat. You can find out who's camping near you, who's near wherever you are. It's just a really great, and it's all free. And so, and there's an app that you can use for it too. So you can use it from your smartphone real easy. Just go over there, will you? If you haven't already joined, we're appealing to you to go join it and be part of that community with us.
All right. I have to apologize. I was wrong. It's you are absolutely dead right. My calendar does say spring begins on the 19th.
It was driving me nuts, Jeff.
It was driving me nuts. But December begins on the 21st. So that might have been.
Somebody named Nerd says the Earth's equator is aligned directly with the sun on the vernal equinox in 2024. That occurs March 19th. Well, thank you. Thank you, Nerd. And thank you, Jeff Newman, for pointing that out the first time. Spring begins Tuesday.
That's what, because I looked down here and there wasn't anything. Up at the top, it does say spring begins on the 19th.
Isn't that awesome? That is great. Jimmy Land.
Doesn't matter. No big deal. Remember not to iron your 4-leaf clover. Okay. You don't want to press your luck. I didn't have enough time to cut it out. It's just the square of white.
That is very good. That is very good, Jimmy. I'm impressed.
From somebody who just washed, I think, a couple Kleenex. You got to be careful of me. I might wash this.
Angie Holloway Reitfeld.
We are first-time RVing across the border. A 2-night stay on the way to Pancake Bay. So crossing into the States. Then crossing into Canada again to continue our trip. Wondering about food that we can take.
Well,
we've never been good with the food thing.
Yeah,
I think you better check and
just
see
go
what's
on
current.
the immigration side. Every place is differently. We have crossed into Canada 100 times, and we've never had any problem with food. That was in the past, but there's
before COVID.
There's so much nicer crossing into Canada than when you come into the U.S. and in the U.S. we've been searched 10 times. Canada, it's always been great. In the U.S. they don't like us to bring any fruit in. Canada, about the only thing they're really strict on is you can't bring
Alcohol.
well, they don't care with alcohol if it's personal use, just not mass quantities, and obviously no firearms. You can get a permit for hunting rifle and stuff, but no hand weapons.
The most
handguns.
difficult thing for me was when we were coming back into the States and I was driving in by myself with Bo, and Bo was a puppy, and the person wanted me to roll down the window so he could look at Bo. And I said to him, I hope Bo doesn't jump out the window, because he was a very energetic pup at that stage in his life. I was like, I'm sure my eyes were high alert. Watch this woman. She's obviously a criminal.
I think the funniest thing is one time I was coming back from Canada, from Ontario. I was alone in the vehicle, and the border crossing guard recognized me from, at that time I was working for television stations, and I was doing technology reports for NBC. So he recognized me. Oh, it's Mike. How are you doing? I saw you do this story and all that. Yep. Where are you going? Oh, I'm just coming home. Oh, great. Okay. We got to pull you over for an identity check, because I had already shown him my password. I said, but you know who I am. And he said, it's a number. The number
It's the
came
luck
up.
of the draw.
Luckily, the number came up. I can't do anything about it. And so I went in, and I thought it would be, everybody else would be friendly like that. I was all for it. But they were like really nasty. Just, no humor, not fun. Anyway, maybe it's been a long day for them.
Yep.
Tough job.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Tough
want
job.
the
This
job.
was before it got crazy.
This was pre-COVID.
This was pre-COVID. Everything was like, that was the last normal we'll ever have, was I think pre-COVID. But anyway, Canada it's pretty easy to cross. Just go look on it. There's some restrictions on fruit, and you can see easily what you should and shouldn't bring. Dogs, we have never been asked for papers for Bo, but we always travel with all of his vet records and all of his vaccination proofs. So if you're taking pets across, either way, have those papers with you.
I'm a little paranoid. I keep a copy of his shot record in every vehicle that we own, and in the Bo bag, his little overnight bag, because I don't want to be without it.
And I really recommend, if you're going out of any country for a long period of time, that you buy traveler's insurance. We're going up to the Maritimes, and we will buy traveler's medical insurance for that. There's vast differences in the insurance coverage in the two countries. You also want to think, if you're traveling out of the country, I think this would apply Canada or US, whichever way you want to go, is what happens if something happens to you and you can't drive your RV back. You want to look at something like the FMCA, which has a great program which will get your RV back. And there are many different insurance policies that you can buy short term, but do that. We've had people on the podcast before about that, and we probably should get somebody on.
Could do that again.
Yeah, we should probably update about what kind of why you should get insurance.
Well, I don't. This has nothing to do with anything, but that pops in my head because that's the way I am. A friend whose husband died in Canada, and they really had trouble getting his body back in the States. I don't know.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah. And we had a friend who was a nurse. She was a nurse, and she got really sick in
one of the islands.
I think it was Aruba. And they wouldn't let her leave the country to come home unless she paid her insurance bill.
Hospital bill.
I think they kept her in the hospital, and it kept growing every day. And her hospital back in Michigan, you'd think the hospital could, hey, one hospital to another, but no, it was
they were passing the hat.
So get some kind of insurance if you're going to go overseas and out of the country now, because it's crazy out there now. Pamela Jenkins Partain. Hi, Pam and Jack.
Corned beef and cabbage and Instapot was quick and delicious. So I should have used an Instapot.
Well, we're using a slow cooker.
Yeah,
it is slow.
Yeah, maybe we're in our condo. It's a rental thing, so I guess I better get an Instapot.
We have one at home.
Yeah, we do.
Those who glamp together.
Do you plan to watch the solar eclipse? I'd like to.
I watch it every night when the sun sets, but no, we will see a part. If we're in Michigan, we will get a partial one. pretty good size because we're not too far.
But it's usually
Oh, but-
cloudy in Michigan.
Yeah, it's always cloudy in Michigan, so what am I going to see? But I don't think, we're not going any place special for it. So we'll see what we can see from
But that could
Southwest
change.
Michigan.
That could change.
That could change, absolutely. JP Lebrec.
Any tips for new retirees selling everything and hitting the road for a couple of years? Have fun.
Have fun and make sure you know what you're doing. I mean, have you, I'm assuming that you've done your homework and you know what that involves, and that you've done long-term camping trips before, and you're sure that you can handle everything, and you've been gone 2 or 3 months at a time and know what that's like. If not, I urge you to gradually work up to that, because it is an abrupt change in your lifestyle. It'll be a great change. You'll have a wonderful time, but just make sure you know what you're getting into, and make sure you want to really sell your house and stuff, because the odds are that after a year or two, you will want to have a full-time residence or a home base. The statistics show that most people who set off full-timers stop that within a couple, 3 years. That's the average. And many of them end up with a home base, and many just end up getting a home and then still continuing their travels. But so, maybe before selling a home, consider renting it for a year, and then making sure that this is the lifestyle you want.
And I know, like with us, we're in our 4th house now. We had a starter home and then a little bit bigger, and then our dream house. And now we're back in a starter home.
Yeah, but I got 10 acres.
Yeah,
and a lake.
10 acres.
So it's my dream
So,
home. This is my dream
what I'm
home,
trying
woman.
to say is, if you're not too attached, which obviously you're not, to the memories of whatever from that house, you've been in there a long time and have all these good memories of things that have happened there. And most people want to downsize because if you're in the big house,
that's what we did. We went from 3,500 square feet
it was more
to
than that.
4,000 square feet down to
15.
About 1,500, and it's perfect. And then
Except we
from
have
that,
no place to store anything. We need to weed,
we have weeded
but
many
we
things.
haven't weeded enough.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you accumulate. But
Especially when people send you stuff all the time to test and sample.
Oh, yeah.
And it just keeps coming.
that's why we have our gatherings, so I can give away all the stuff that people have sent me to test. I got a bunch of it for the next 2 gatherings. We'll bring them. And so anyway, hey, JP, have a really great time. I'm sure that you've done all that homework, and I offer all that cautionary stuff for those who jump into stuff. And there are a lot of people, we see them all the time saying, hey, we're just thinking about selling everything and going, and there's a lot involved. But
usually opposites attract. Like one of you is really going to want to go and the other one isn't.
Or one is, yeah, and the other one's saying, yeah, but let's check out this. And I have a melancholy who makes great lists and worries about the details, and I just go full stream ahead. And God put us together, and it's a good thing, because who knows where I'd be. Montana.
Probably in heaven.
Well, that's not bad. That's my ultimate retirement goal. I'll tell you that. Jennifer Reed.
Okay. Wanting to buy our first Class C this year. Besides the floor plan to best suit your family, what else would you say would be the biggest factor in considering all the differences, all the different ones?
Well, I don't know your situation or your family, so we can't offer much, but we can say this: test them before you buy, because you are going to find, moving around in them, little things that, I didn't think about that. Test them all out.
I would say before you start testing, check out the reputation of the company,
Yes.
the place you're buying it from, read reviews. You usually get what you pay for. You get the real cheap starter model.
They break. Driving an RV or even a Class C, your motorhome, driving down the road is like subjecting it to a 6.0 earthquake.
So
for 2 hours at a time.
Buy the best you can buy used.
Yeah.
One.
I would say buy used, and the highest quality one that you can find.
You want the highest quality you can find, because it doesn't matter how pretty it is.
I would
Because if you're never going to see it, because it's going to be getting fixed all the time.
And I would urge you to stay, I don't want to say this because there are some great ones, but be careful of the company that you buy from, and be careful of the dealer that you buy from. Understand that there are, that if something goes wrong with your vehicle, seriously wrong, and it's covered by warranty, that doesn't mean it's necessarily covered. The manufacturer still has to say, oh, well, we'll cover that as a warranty issue. Sometimes there are some, we just had a story on our Facebook group about somebody who had a horrible experience with one of the big manufacturing companies because they wouldn't honor the warranty. So reputation, like Jen said.
So you mean a lot of folks might be living out of their car?
I hope not. I hope not. And, those are all things. Jeffrey Broder.
Heading to our first campsite this weekend. Any words of wisdom?
Just enjoy it. Savor it. Settle in. Get there early before dark. Put your chairs out. Look at the sky at night. Get up early in the morning, and just enjoy it. And the first camping experience is indelible. It will be with you forever. So just savor the excitement of it, and it will all go well. It will all go well. But my biggest advice is get there as early as you can. If you check in at 1, see if you can get in at 1. And so you have all that afternoon to settle in before you go at night. Let me just give you an example from us. Monday night, we're testing one of these new RVs. Should I tell them all that? I guess we're testing one of these new RVs. And the beauty is that we took it to Alabama, to near Gulf Shores, Alabama. Our 18-year-old grandson is a fabulous pitcher. Yes, it is. He's a pitcher for his high school team up in Nashville. And he was playing in a tournament there. By the way, they won the entire tournament. Okay. 50 different teams. Anyway, we're there on Monday night. We got into our campsite early, but we had to go to the 7 o'clock game. So we left the campsite, went to the 7 o'clock game. And by the time the game was over, we got back, it was about 10 o'clock, dark. I go to pull in our site. Quiet time.
9 o'clock.
At this
where we were camping, and it was quiet.
I pull into our site, and there is another RV, a guy in a trailer, a travel trailer.
Wasn't it a fifth wheel?
I thought it was
fifth wheel.
Travel rather, a fifth wheel.
It had a lot of slides on it.
Then it was probably a fifth wheel, and he's in there. It's like 10 o'clock. The lights are all out. All of our neighbors. So I go in, I pound on the door, and I said, "You're in our site." And he said, I couldn't find the one they gave me, and I didn't want to keep driving around because it's quiet time. And I said, well, this is ours. And he ended up leaving.
So we don't sound too bad. We did try to drive around to find his site. And then I said, this isn't working because it's not well marked and it's dark out and we're bothering everybody.
Yeah, by driving around. And so anyway, he left. And then we pulled into ours, and we were very reluctant to make any more noise because all of our neighbors were asleep. And this is a brand new RV for us, right? So we have to figure the secret of any RV is a place for everything and everything a place. And we hadn't done that in this one. This was our first night in a brand new, tiny little RV. And it was a miserable night.
To put the window coverings on the driver and passenger side, we're struggling forever to get it. There were magnets. We could not get it up there. And finally we had to go to the last resort. We had to look at the manual, and you had to open the door, and it went boop.
Yeah, you stand outside,
but then you're slamming the door, to shut it.
So
and then the lights went on. Everybody, the headlights went on.
Yeah, well, because we opened the door, and it was just a miserable. And then
who you do not want as your neighbor.
Yeah, so get there early. That's my whole point. Get there early and enjoy it. Set it up. Think about it, where you're going to put this, where you're going to put your glasses, where you're going to put your cell phones, where they're going to get charged. Just, do you have because wake up in the middle of the night, you want to know what time it is, where you're going to have your phone or your watch or whatever you use. All those little things make it so smooth. And we hadn't had a chance to do that with this RV.
Well, maybe.
And it was a miserable night. Let me just tell you, we ended up about 3 a.m. We started giggling because this is going to be such a great story. And now we're telling them.
We didn't get to sleep till like 4. It was too hot, and Bo was miserable, so he kept coming over panting.
It's a brand new RV, right? And this is the thing, if you're getting a brand new RV, turn on the heater for a couple of hours before you use it, because they all have to burn off this little coating on them, and they stink like heavens, horrible.
I mean, smoke detectors go off. So all that stuff. So anyway, get yourself a couple shamrocks, and maybe we better start
Yeah.
carrying shamrocks with us too.
And I guess that the reason we had that experience on Monday nights, so it won't happen to you. All right, let's just do a couple more, and hopefully we
getting
can eat
late.
our corned beef and cabbage.
Not till
Elroy
midnight.
Borchert.
Question: what's the average cost for an RV site in Florida?
As
much as you want to
you mean
pay,
to rent or to buy?
no, to stay. You're going camping.
I would
What's
say the
cost?
average price is $70,
75?
70 to 75. And if it's in a highly desirable area, 100 to 125 is not unusual. Yeah. Now there are state parks. They're much more affordable. They're just very hard to get into. And those are probably 30 to 40.
And most state parks don't have, they don't have sewers.
Some they don't
have
sewer,
water, some don't.
Some just have electricity. It's but the commercial parks, I would say $70 is what you. Well, it's some of them are kind of run down too, and they're not that bad. But I mean, a nice park is $70 to $75. Isn't that something? It was 30 when we started off.
And if it's the weekend, they can make it.
Oh yeah,
more.
This is another thing that gets you mad. The parks have all done this thing now,
like hotels.
Like hotels, they call it dynamic pricing, where based on how many vacancies they have and how many people are calling, they adjust the price. So you might call right now and inquire of a price, and say you get a price of $55 for that lot. And then you look at a couple of other spots and say, well, I'm going to go back to get that $55 one. And you go back to that, and suddenly it's $69 or $70. That's dynamic pricing, because there's fewer spots.
It's quitting time.
Bo says it's quitting time.
So, he hasn't had his dinner.
So anyway, hope that helps you, Elroy, but it's not cheap. Okay, last question is Les picks.
If money was no object, what would be your dream rig? I know what yours would be.
I don't think you do. I think you do, but you don't. What do you think it is?
Well, I'm thinking, but at first,
my
first thought was a small Class A. And then I started thinking, maybe you want a truck camper.
No, I don't want a truck
camper. Okay.
You really found a truck camper?
Well, I don't want a truck camper.
Why would you
think it's kind of up on stilts and back.
I've never wanted
I can just see us really messing that up.
I would like to try one, but I don't. I thought you were going to say a big Class A, a Prevost.
No, a small.
I actually think the one I have, this fifth wheel, this Montana High Country that we have.
He loves his
you do too.
Montana.
We were just saying today.
Yeah.
The only thing I have yet to get is we didn't get a washer and dryer with it, and we would like to do that.
If we're ever home long enough, we need to price one out.
Yeah, we will, and that's probably my dream one right now. Although I because they're this mystery, and I know how nice they are, I would love to try some Class A's. But right now I'm in it. I really am. All right, boy, that was fun. We did way too much talking. I hope we didn't bore everybody.
I mean, what we really like about the fifth wheel is the fireplace. It's so cozy, comfortable reclining chairs, a nice
really nice
kitchen
bed
nook where we can. It's very pleasant, but that's because we're in a very pleasant spot.
I was just going to say, don't you think the fact that it's because we have our own RV land?
Yep.
And we can go to it anytime we want. We can stay as long as we want. We don't have to worry about disturbing the neighbors or getting a reservation. And we love the area. Mm-hmm. So that might be a big reason too that we like it so much. So all right. Thank you guys. I'm hoping, keep your fingers crossed. I'm talked out, and it's 10 to 7, and I'm ready to eat our corned beef and cabbage. And it's spring. Happy spring. Podcast coming up this weekend. We're going to talk, or this Wednesday on the podcast, we're talking about how to find a mobile RV tech, and why everybody needs to kind of understand how valuable a mobile RV tech is if you have any problems with your RV in this new season. Good information coming up on that on Wednesday. Don't forget to check out our RV lifestyle community at community.rvlifestyle.com. We'd love to see you over there. And we'll be on for the afterglow of this on our community later on tonight. So we'll see you all later on. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Chris Colley, for handling YouTube. Thanks, Phyllis Kerr, for running all the questions and keeping me on track. And thanks to my lifelong traveling companion, and my lucky bride, the lucky shamrock, Jennifer.
So happy trails.
Bye.